Hello, Tim from Fair Play Now on the 30th of April 2024. So quite an interesting job I've just completed back there. I just had to wire in a little wall heater for an elderly couple. Very nice couple, but pretty much the first thing the guy said when I started working is, well, he was going on about some ailments he's got. He's got very bad lung problems, and I think his wife has a little bit as well. I can't remember what he said it was, but a bad lung condition anyway. And he said, totally unprompted by me, he's obviously got no idea what I'm about and about this channel or anything like that. But the first thing he said, do you know what's caused it? And then he went on to say the lurgy thing that goes in there. So they've both had, I think, 3 of them. They're not going to have any more. And he was saying how before he had those, he was fit as a fiddle, despite being sort of mid to late 80s. He would still be up step ladders, you know, cutting back bushes and gardening work and all sorts of things, and very fit. And he's just got a very small back garden, probably only about, I don't know, sort of 15-foot square. And he says it takes him about 2 hours just to mow the lawn now, because he's got to keep stopping every sort of 2 seconds because he's out of breath. So yeah, these people who were lining up for the things, you know, a few years ago, they do seem to be, many of them, aware of what's going on. They're obviously suffering themselves, or they know people who sort of are. And when you bear in mind, you know, I'm just the electrician who's gone around there to do a bit of work for him, and he was telling me that, so you can bet your life that he's going to be telling all sorts of other people, friends, family, anyone who will listen to him. Yeah, I've got this health problem now that I never used to have, and it is because of the thing. And if one guy here in Crawley is doing that, you can bet your life that there's thousands of people like him up and down the country, maybe not quite as vocal as him, but suffering and telling people in no uncertain terms yeah, what they think has caused it. So quite interesting, don't you think? And it kind of ties in with this is something I've seen over the Telegram groups that I'm member of over the last couple of days or so. And apparently the company that does those, that starts with AZ, I'm sure you know the one I mean, links to Oxford University and all of that. Well, apparently they've been forced to admit in court that in rare cases, for that read, not quite so rare, you know, they have been causing clots to do with the blood, you know. And so for them to admit that in court is really quite something. And going back to this guy who has got the lung problems, who was talking to me this morning, he was saying how, you know, it makes him laugh how the mainstream media say that these things, these reactions are very, very rare and unusual. And he was saying, yeah, well, it doesn't seem to be quite so rare as what they make out. So very interesting. And it's funny how I've come across both of those stories in the last sort of just couple of days, really. But I'll tell you what, if the powers that shouldn't be get their way, it will soon be the case that we can't talk about any of this stuff. Again, this is another story. I think it originated from the New York Post or a publication like that. And they're saying that Congress are at the moment discussing and considering a bill that will make any kind of alternative narrative surrounding 9/11 illegal. So if you say, oh, what about Building 7 and all, and all of the rest of the stuff, you may find yourself looking at heavy fines and even imprisonment. Quite how they're going to work that, I've got no idea. If you're American, maybe you can tell me. I thought you had one of the amendments. I can't remember what number it is. You know how the Americans have got these amendments to their constitution. There's one to do with the right to carry firearms. There's one to do with the right to remain silent if you're arrested. But then there's another one all to do with free speech. Basically, you could say anything without, or almost anything, without fear of being arrested or anything like that. So unlike this country, and especially Scotland and these other places that have got these kind of hate speech things now. So how that's going to work in America, this proposed thing that's going through Congress about 9/11 tying in with that particular amendment, I've got no idea. But maybe if you're from the States, you can tell me in the comment section below here. It just seems like anyone who is going to be dissenting in any way against the mainstream media is going to be shut down, or at the very least they're going to be looking at court cases and things like that, which, bearing in mind, actually, last night I saw basically an interview with Richard D. Hall interviewing Gemma O'Doherty from there in Ireland, very, very well-known journalist in Ireland, a mainstream journalist who was very well known for creating articles, really good journalism, kind of calling out the police over there for their corruption, and other entities for their corruption as well. And it was kind of well received, and she won awards and everything all the way through until about 2015, when all of a sudden she was cancelled. She was told she had to stop kind of doing that kind of journalism, otherwise she'd be out of a job. So she just said, all right, I'll be out of a job then, because I'm not stopping. And so she's had to become a freelance or an independent journalist now. But this interview was really interesting, and if I can, I'll see if I can leave a link to it in the description box below. And if not, you'll have to just go to Richard D. Hall's site and find it from there. Actually, I think that's what I'll do. I'll just put a link to his website, and then you'll just have to go on there and find the video. I found it quite easily, so I'm sure you can. But they're both, it's funny, both Richard and Gemma are currently looking at lawsuits against them just for stuff that they've put out there. Richard's, as you may know, has produced this amazing documentary. Again, I watched quite a lot of that last night as well, which calls into question the official narrative surrounding the Manchester arena bombings a few years ago. And he's got some very, very compelling evidence to suggest that that's not all it seems. You'll just have to watch the documentary to see what I mean, but it is very convincing stuff. Some very, very good journalism there. But lo and behold, it probably put up by all kinds of powers that shouldn't be. One of the families affected are suing them for basically kind of, what's the word? Kind of going against the memory of their sort of family who kind of lost their lives in the event. Which is the reason for the 9/11 things. It's we can't be upsetting the families of the deceased. Well, if the narrative's false and shenanigans have been going on, I'd have thought you definitely want things to be questioned, not for commentary to be shut down. And then Gemma O'Doherty is looking at cases as well against her, and it's just designed to shut down independent journalism, which is going against the mainstream narrative. They really are playing dirty. They know they can't win in just kind of head-to-head debate, which is why they never have any one of our ilk on their TV programs or anything like that, or publish any articles in mainstream newspapers, probably because they know they can't win. So they're just playing dirty, aren't they, to get this kind of independent journalism, citizen journalism shut down, I think. So, just some comments there, some commentary for you. So free speech, it really is being eroded all the time. Let's hope we sort of fight back against this, or that our fight back continues and is successful. We can't have these things that go against free speech coming in, and we need to see the truth, know what the truth is, no matter what the consequences of that is or are. I'm all for just the truth. I just want the truth. That's all I want. I don't want any nonsense, any censorship, any cancelling or shutting down of people. If they've got credible evidence and a credible case to put forward, it needs to be heard, I think. So there we go. And we all know about the sort of thing I was talking about at the start of this, how censorship works there as well. If you're new to this channel, you'll have noticed I didn't mention the thing directly. Again, that's censorship for you, and you have to box a little bit clever to get round the censorship, sadly. So anyway, tell me what you think in the comment section below about anything I've said today, and I'll be back with you soon. Tim from Fair Play Now. Thanks for watching.